Hey guys, it's Kirk at Willie's. Today we are going to discuss truss rods. Somewhat of the history of them, current designs, and how to deal with broken ones. So I have here a Harmony, and a lot of these guitars that they made, you'll see on the top it'll say steel reinforced neck, and they don't have a truss rod. There's no way to adjust this. What is a steel reinforced neck? It is this piece of steel. This is one that we pulled out of an old Harmony that had a terrible bow in it. So you have to heat it up and remove it, and it sits right in here. So notice it stops right at the body joint, because obviously you don't need to reinforce something that's hanging off over here. So getting these out is a lot of fun because they're under the fretboard. You will find them inset into the neck itself. This is also how your standard kind of Gibson truss rod design works as well. Now this poor guitar, it's a Gibson Marauder neck. It was involved in an accident which sheared the truss rod right off where the headstock broke. So there was no way to salvage this. A couple things you can see on this is the anchor point on a lot of Gibson truss rod necks. It's just a little washer, like a rectangular washer. That is set into this channel. It's not set in flat. The only way it can function is it's actually set in at a slight angle. And then this top piece has to match that angle to push it in. Why do they do that? Well, if you want to try and straighten this and the rod's already straight, you're just going to compress the rod. You're not going to have any effect on straightening the neck. So then to replace one of these, which is why a lot of people get very scared, it is a very invasive process. Fretboard needs to be removed. This whole strip needs to come out. The new rod goes in. It must be wrapped so it doesn't make noise. So this one is nearly complete. Another situation you can run into, here's a similar guitar, but this has a different kind of truss rod thing. The anchor points are much larger, but this guitar did not have the strip put in there properly. So when this truss rod was broken, it basically was just sitting in there straight. Somebody turned it, and pop goes the nut. So there was nothing to help straighten the neck. It was just set in there straight. So in order to fix that, this whole channel had to have its arc put in and a new piece of wood put on top of it. So then that can go back together. There's other options and styles of truss rods. There's some you'll see in Sigmas and certain other brands of guitars that'll have this aluminum kind of sheathing with it that helps further reinforce it, and then the truss rod sits in that. This one is also broken. I have quite a collection of broken truss rods sitting in front of me here. This is what Stu Max sells as a dual action truss rod. This can create a forward bow or a back bow. So unlike these kind of more passive designs, they can only counteract a forward bow until they're loose. Once they're loose, they have no more functionality. So Stu Mac designed these to fit in about the same channel as a steel reinforced channel. So that's an optional conversion that can be done. Fender styles, we won't even get into that. They're fairly similar to the Gibson styles. But that's basically how your truss rod works. So don't be afraid to adjust them, but be aware that that is all you are dealing with. So a ton of pressure on these will break them off. One rule I try to follow when you're adjusting a Gibson rod, 2-finger tight. So that way you can't put your full force on it, because you can rip these right apart. If you do 2-finger tight and it stops, you stop. Then it's time to go see the pros. So don't be afraid of it, but be aware that it is very possible to shatter and break these. And the repair is very invasive and takes a lot of work from a professional. That's about all I got for you on truss rods today.